A baseball bat slips out of someone's hands and hits a teenager directly in the face. His nose is crushed. His eye socket fractures. His brain swells so severely that a helicopter airlifts him to the nearest hospital, where doctors place him in a medically induced coma just to keep him alive. When he wakes up, he can't breathe through his nose. He can't see properly. The doctors tell his family. It is not clear what kind of life he will have going forward. Not what kind of athlete. What kind of life. That teenager's name is James Clear. And the system he builds to claw his way back from that moment, one impossibly small step at a time, will become the most important book written about human behavior in the last decade. Clear didn't recover through motivation. He recovered through something so boring, so stupidly small that most people would have dismissed it entirely. He improved by 1%, then 1% again, then again. He made the baseball team at his college. Then he became team captain. Then he was named the top male athlete at his university. Not because of some dramatic transformation, because of systems so small they were almost invisible. That journey became Atomic Habits, a book that has sold over 15 million copies. Not because it tells you something you haven't heard, but because it finally explains why everything you've already tried hasn't worked. This book is for you if you've set the same goal every January and abandoned it by February, and you're starting to believe the problem is you. This book is for you if you know exactly what you should be doing, but can't make yourself do it consistently. And this book is for you if you've ever looked at someone with incredible discipline and thought, they must be built differently. They're not. And this book shows you why. Every person who fails a diet had the goal of losing weight. Every person who quits the gym in March had the goal of getting in shape. The goal was never the issue. Every winner and every loser had the same one. So what's the difference? It's not the goal, it's the system. Goals set direction. Systems produce results. If you're a coach, your goal is to win the championship. Your system is how you run practice, how you recruit, how you prepare. The goal didn't change between last season and this one. The system did. You set a goal to read more this year, but your phone is still on your nightstand. You still scroll for 40 minutes before bed. The book sits across the room collecting dust. The goal is there. The system is working against you, and when you achieve a goal, it disappears. You hit the number, you cross the finish line. Then what? If your habits didn't change, you slide right back. The goal gave you a moment. The system gives you a trajectory. You've been setting goals your entire life. How many stuck? That answer tells you everything. Not about your discipline, about your systems. Goals point to destinations, systems. Build the path. The second idea goes deeper. And it's the reason most habit changes don't last even when the system is right. You don't need to change your habits. You need to change your identity. Most people try to change from the outside in. I want to run, so I'll start running. I want to lose weight, so I'll diet. The behavior comes first. The identity follows. Maybe Clear flips it. The most effective way to change what you do is to change who you believe you are. You're at a party, someone offers you a cigarette. Response 1, no thanks. I'm trying to quit. Response 2, no thanks. I'm not a smoker. Same behavior, completely different identity underneath. The first person is a smoker fighting a craving. The second person has already moved on. The behavior isn't a battle, it's a reflection. I'm trying to save money versus I'm someone who builds wealth. I'm trying to work out versus I'm an athlete. The words sound small. The shift underneath them is enormous. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. Show up enough times, and you stop being someone who is trying. You become someone who simply does. So who do you want to become? And are your daily habits casting votes for that person or against them? Now picture your evening. You walk in after work. Your couch is right there. The remote is on the armrest. Your running shoes are in a closet you haven't opened in 2 weeks. The book you want to read is in another room. Be honest. What's going to happen? This is the third idea. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your environment. Every habit starts with a cue, and cues are environmental. Your apartment isn't a backdrop to your habits, it's the architect of them. Make the cues for good habits obvious, make the cues for bad habits invisible. Put the fruit on the counter and the chips where you can't reach them. Put the guitar on a stand in your living room, not in a case in the closet. Fill a water bottle and leave it everywhere you sit. One study clear references found that people who kept fruit visible on their counter weighed significantly less than people who kept cereal or soda in sight. Same people, same kitchens, same willpower, different cues. The people you admire who seem to have superhuman discipline, most of them don't. They've built rooms where the right choice is the easy choice. They didn't become better people, they built better rooms. Look around wherever you are right now. What is your environment making easy? What is it making hard? Those two answers tell you more about your future than any resolution you've ever made. The fourth idea solves the biggest problem people face with new habits, starting. Clear calls it the 2-minute rule. When you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. That sounds absurd. 2 minutes of reading won't make you smarter. 2 minutes of exercise won't get you in shape. That's not the point. You're not optimizing for results. You're optimizing for showing up. A habit must be established before it can be improved, and a habit that never starts can never be established. Don't commit to run 3 miles every morning. Commit to put on your running shoes. That's it. Some days you'll lace them up and stand there. Some days you'll run 5 miles, but the habit your brain is encoding is the shoe part. Everything after is a bonus. Read 30 minutes before bed becomes open the book. Meditate every morning becomes sit on the cushion. Write 1,000 words becomes open the document. Remember James Clear in that hospital bed, he didn't decide to become a top college athlete. That would have been insane. He showed up to one class, then one practice, then one rep. The system that rebuilt his entire life started with something so small it barely counted. The hardest part of any habit isn't the middle. It's the moment of beginning. And 2 minutes is so small your brain can't generate enough resistance to stop you. So tonight, don't plan the whole routine, just put on the shoes. The fifth idea is quieter than the others. But it might stay with you longest. You're going to miss days. You'll skip the workout, eat the pizza, sleep through the alarm. That's not failure. That's life. Clear's only rule is simple. Never miss twice. Missing once is an accident. Missing twice is the beginning of a new pattern. You miss Monday's workout. Fine. Show up Tuesday and Monday was a stumble. Tuesday was a statement. But miss Tuesday too, and something shifts. 2 days off feels like a break. 3 feels like a decision. 4 feels like who you are again. Most people operate on all or nothing. They eat perfectly for 3 weeks, have one bad meal, and the whole thing collapses. Not because the meal mattered, because they treated one slip as proof they couldn't do it. The rule isn't about maintaining a perfect streak, it's about maintaining the identity. One missed workout and you're still an athlete who had an off day. 2 missed workouts and the story starts to change. This is the gentlest idea in the book, and maybe the most forgiving. It doesn't ask you to be perfect, it just asks you to come back. What do I do tomorrow? That's the only question that matters. The sixth idea explains why most people quit right before everything is about to work. Clear calls it the plateau of latent potential. You start a new habit. Day 1, nothing changes. Day 5, nothing. Day 20, you're showing up, doing the work, and you have absolutely nothing to show for it. So you quit. And that's the tragedy. You weren't failing, you were building. Think about ice in a cold room. You heat the room 25 degrees, 27, 30. Nothing happens. The ice just sits there. You might think the heat isn't working. Then you hit 32 degrees and everything melts at once. The work wasn't wasted at 25, it was stored. Building toward a threshold, most people expect a straight line between effort and results, but habits don't work that way. The effort compounds invisibly, then breaks through all at once. You felt this. 6 weeks at the gym and nothing looks different. A month of clean eating and the scale won't move. 3 months of writing and nobody reads a word. That gap between where you are and where results appear isn't emptiness. It's storage, and most people empty the account right before the interest compounds. Every result is delayed. Keep going. Here's the big truth that sits underneath everything in this book. You don't need a better version of yourself, you need a better system around the version you already are. James Clear proved this with his own body. Broken in a hospital bed. No goal was big enough to fix him. What fixed him was a system so small it was almost embarrassing. One class, one practice, 1%. And that 1%, compounded over years, turned a kid who couldn't breathe through his own nose into one of the most influential voices on human behavior alive today. Fix the system, and the person inside it transforms without ever needing a motivational speech, a fresh start, or another January 1st. Here's the honest warning. You now know more about how habits work than most people will ever learn. Systems, identity, environment, the 2-minute rule, never miss twice, the plateau of latent potential. And none of it matters if tomorrow morning looks exactly like this morning. Knowing isn't the same as doing. And the gap between those two things is where most people's best intentions go to do. Not let that be you. Step 1 tonight. Pick one habit. Just one. Reduce it to its 2-minute version. Lay the shoes by the bed. Put the book on the pillow. Open the document before you sleep. Step 2. Tomorrow, look at your environment with new eyes. Find one bad habit cue and make it invisible. Move the phone charger out of the bedroom. Remove one friction point between you and the behavior you actually want. Step 3. Write one sentence. The identity you're voting for. I am a person who, and finish it. Put it where you'll see it every morning. Atomic Habits by James Clear is not a book about habits. It is a book about the invisible architecture of daily life, about the systems that are already shaping who you are becoming, whether you design them or not. And the question it leaves you with is not whether you can change. The question is, what are your current habits making you become? Drop a comment below and tell me which idea hit you hardest. Was it the systems reframe, the identity shift, the environment design, the 2-minute rule, or the never miss twice rule? I read every single one. And if you're not subscribed, do that now, because next week we go even deeper. I will see you there.